On March 15, 2023, in downtown Chicago, a significant incident unfolded at Great Lakes Banking Corporation, one of the largest financial institutions in the Midwest. For over a century, the bank had served millions of customers, providing a range of services from savings accounts to complex investment solutions. At the heart of its operations was a sophisticated cybersecurity infrastructure designed to protect sensitive customer data and financial transactions. As part of its regular protocol, the IT department scheduled a critical software update intended to patch vulnerabilities in its core banking system. This update was essential in light of emerging cyber threats that had been increasingly targeting financial institutions. However, the update was postponed due to a miscommunication between the IT team and upper management. Executive leadership, unaware of the urgency, chose to prioritize other operational matters, assuming that existing protections were sufficient. The initial failure stemmed from this oversight, compounded by a significant process gap in change management. The bank operated on a reliance on internal tools that failed to adequately log the status of pending updates. With no automated alerts to prompt action, the planned software patch remained stagnant, creating a vulnerability that internal cybersecurity metrics had not previously flagged. Additionally, permissions for testing new updates were overly restrictive, delaying alternative contingency measures that could have mitigated the risk. This misjudgment proved costly when, just weeks later, on April 10, 2023, cybersecurity analysts began noticing unusual activities within their networks. Several alarms triggered during routine monitoring raised the first red flags, indicating potential unauthorized access attempts. By this point, hackers had already begun to exploit the unpatched vulnerability, gaining unauthorized access to internal databases. Initial estimates suggested that millions of dollars had begun disappearing from customers' accounts at an alarming rate. By the end of April 2023, the measures taken to address these anomalies resulted in a staggering impact. Over 50,000 customer accounts were affected, with an estimated loss of nearly $12 million in funds. Nearly 10% of the bank's clientele reported unauthorized transactions, leading to frustration and anxiety among account holders. As affected customers scrambled to freeze accounts and contest charges, the bank faced daily service disruptions on its online banking platforms, leading to an influx of complaints that overwhelmed customer service representatives. Internally, confusion reigned as the incident unfolded. Employees engaged in a flurry of internal emails, attempting to piece together the scope of the problem. The incident response channel saw a growing number of messages, ranging from urgent alerts to speculative discussions about the possible causes. Management struggled to ascertain the extent of the breach as teams scrambled to analyze log data and resolve process gaps. Incorrect assumptions about the nature of the attack led to early misdiagnoses, resulting in multiple partial fixes that failed to stop the ongoing data theft. Externally, the situation began to draw attention. Customers took to social media, sharing their distress about missing funds and inconsistent information from bank representatives. Minor media outlets began reporting on the situation, highlighting the rapidly growing concerns of account security. The bank's failure to communicate effectively with its patrons only exacerbated the issue. As the crisis escalated, it became evident that the ramifications were much broader than initial estimates suggested. As confusion mounted within the institution and the loss of customer trust became apparent, the leadership team convened an emergency meeting to discuss the unfolding crisis. Analysts presented data indicating that the breach was becoming more severe, with cybercriminals ramping up their tactics. Any initial confidence in the bank's controls crumbled as pressure mounted from regulators and the media. A thorough investigation was deemed necessary to identify the source of the vulnerability and prevent future incidents. With each passing day, customer complaints intensified, evolving from mere inconvenience to full-blown outrage as people demanded answers. The lapse in cybersecurity was a point of contention, leading to an inevitable inquiry into the bank's internal protocols. As investigations were launched, the realization sank in that the overlooked software update was not just a minor oversight, but a catalyst for a burgeoning national banking crisis. The banking institution faced a deepening financial and reputational disaster, leaving communities reeling in its wake. Just as resolution efforts were taking shape, another unforeseen complication arose. Frustrated customers banded together, considering legal action against Great Lakes Banking Corporation. This potential backlash created urgency for the bank to act decisively. As millions continued to vanish and regulatory scrutiny intensified, the situation threatened to spiral out of control, raising critical questions about how a single software update could escalate into a nationwide banking crisis, leaving all stakeholders caught in an unprecedented turmoil. By early May 2023, the situation had ramped up to a level that required immediate institutional response. The bank's executive leadership faced growing frustrations from customers and stakeholders alike. On May 5, 2023, the bank issued a press release acknowledging the breach and outlining the steps taken to address the situation. This included the implementation of an emergency security patch to close the exploited vulnerability and immediate suspension of online banking features to assess the damage effectively. However, these actions were met with skepticism. Media reports covered disgruntled clients protesting outside bank branches, demanding clearer communication and accountability. On May 10th, the situation escalated further as a group of customers officially filed a class action lawsuit against the bank, citing negligence and failure to protect user data. The lawsuit alleged that the institution had ignored prior warnings about the vulnerabilities in its systems, leading to direct financial losses for thousands. Legal experts suggested that if the case proceeded, it could result in significant financial penalties for Great Lakes Banking Corporation. Concurrently, regulatory bodies began their own investigation into the bank's operations. The Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council, FFIEC, notified the institution of a mandatory audit, emphasizing the need to identify security lapse points and compliance failure. The bank's executives found themselves under considerable pressure from regulators, which further complicated their internal response strategies. By mid-May, the bank had already incurred financial losses nearing $20 million, prompting tighter scrutiny on operational budgets and spending. Amidst growing turmoil, on May 15, 2023, the institution's board of directors decided to appoint a third-party cybersecurity firm to aid in the investigation. This move was intended to assure customers and regulators that the bank was taking the necessary actions to remediate issues and improve its security infrastructure. The firm began work immediately, conducting forensic analysis and initiating stakeholder interviews to gain insight into the events leading up to the breach. As the investigation progressed, internal communications were leaked to several news organizations. These documents disclosed that team leaders had been repeatedly warned of security concerns regarding legacy systems and outdated software protocols. reports indicated that about 70% of critical database servers were still running on unpatched software versions, contrary to the directives issued by the IT department in previous months. This information led to public outrage, as it was perceived as a blatant disregard for customer safety. In parallel, platforms dependent on the bank's infrastructure began reporting outages. Payment processing systems and point-of-sale applications were compromised, leading to widespread disruptions in retail environments relying on their services. As the interconnectedness of banking and commerce became evident, financial partners and affiliates also faced losses, raising the overall impact into the hundreds of millions. Daily reports highlighted how the breach had not only undermined Great Lakes Banking Corporation, but it also affected numerous businesses reliant on their framework. Responding to the escalation, on May 25th, the Department of Justice, DOJ, officially involved itself, launching a criminal investigation into the cyber breach in collaboration with federal law enforcement agencies. The inquiry promised to delve deeper into whether internal wrongdoing or negligence played a part in the crisis. As the potential for legal repercussions loomed large, the bank's executives organized further emergency meetings in an effort to demonstrate their commitment to transparency and rectify the catastrophic errors made. As June approached, public pressure mounted, leading to a further wave of institutional change. On June 1st, a formal announcement was made that the bank's Chief Information Officer, CIO, had resigned. Shortly after, the former CEO was put on administrative leave pending ongoing inquiries. A new interim CEO was appointed on June 5th, tasked with restoring stability and confidence among customers and stakeholders. However, the challenges persisted. Despite ongoing efforts to address security vulnerabilities and improve customer relations, many account holders continued to express dissatisfaction with the transparency of the situation. By mid-June, over 200,000 accounts had been flagged for potential fraud, and the total financial loss reported by the institution expanded to approximately $50 million, impacting both individuals and businesses. As summer progressed, initial resolutions began to take shape. On July 10, 2023, the bank entered a settlement agreement in the class action lawsuit, agreeing to compensate affected customers and change policies surrounding cybersecurity practices. Emergency measures taken during this period included an extensive system overhaul, and authorities mandated comprehensive audits of all operational practices, initiating a commitment to a new framework of security and transparency. In the exposure phase, investigative journalism uncovered that the bank had indeed received multiple warning signals regarding possible system vulnerabilities before the breach occurred. Detailed analyses were published across major outlets by late July, examining the implications of a managed failure in corporate governance that contributed to the crisis. Internal chat logs released revealed a startling lack of urgency among upper management regarding software updates, leading to irreparable harm, as evidenced by the technology failures outlined in both internal and external reports. Consequences continued to unfold in the months that followed. By September 2023, customer attrition rates had spiked, leading to an estimated loss of over 100,000 accounts as people increasingly sought alternatives for their banking needs. The bank's share price plummeted, and major financial analysts began revising their outlooks, which further delayed plans for recovery. On October 10, 2023, the bank publicly announced the completion of their comprehensive internal review, detailing extensive protocol changes, enhanced cybersecurity measures, and an increased budget allocation for technology upgrades moving forward. However, ramifications persisted long after the immediate crisis was addressed. The institution had sustained permanent reputational damage, with former clients vocal about their distrust in returning to its services. Ultimately, Great Lakes Banking Corporation transformed under increased regulations, internal audits, and heightened scrutiny from all levels of governance. The incident served as a stark reminder of the critical intersection of technology management and institutional responsibility in modern financial systems. As of December 1st, 2023, the financial institution has begun to rebuild under new leadership, having undergone significant restructuring and close regulatory oversight. The bank remains operational, though it has faced overwhelming challenges in restoring customer trust. Long-term damage persists, with the institution's market share drastically reduced and reputation yet to stabilize.